Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to Breakfast with Sergio, special edition of Artists in Lockdown. And I am very excited today because we're going to talk about all kinds of things on how artists are adapting, again, to this online space and how we're transforming our art careers to also function in this virtual space. And with me, we have Kristine Schomaker. She is from LA, and she's an artist, curator, mentor, and publisher. We're going to talk about all the projects that she is involved right now. So stay here. It's going to be awesome. Well, Kristine, I am very happy to have you here in the show. How are you today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. I'm honored.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Kristine. I know you are in LA, so you're on the other side, on the West Coast. And, you know, we've been following all our friends also in LA area as well. And, you know, the closings over there. And I know it's kind of hard for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're on the West Coast or in the Midwest or in the East Coast, you know, we're all kind of experiencing at different levels, but we're all experiencing this situation. How is it for you guys in LA right now?
You know, so far so good. I know a lot of people are quarantining, they're staying at home. It seems like there's more traffic out there, so people are getting out there a little more,
slowly,
which I'm a little worried about. But I know you had mentioned that they extended your stay at home through the end of May, and I'm sure they're going to do that for Los Angeles too.
Yeah. Kristine, you and I, we were connected to our good friend Martin Cox. He was here before in the conversation because he's part of this online exhibition that's called Callin Response, collaborations at a distance, which is, from what I understand, it was born out of, you know, all of us going in quarantine, and you as an artist curator, kind of like me, also looking at, you know, how do we embrace this new space and do something creative. So I went in and I started interviewing people, and you actually created an online exhibition and platform for artists to connect. Can you tell us a little bit about Callin Response, you know, where the idea started and what's it about?
Yeah, so it started with, I was having a meeting with my team at Shoebox PR, and we were just kind of brainstorming how we could support artists right now, whether it's through curation, whether it's through, you know, different ways of support and resources. And we were trying to think of like public art exhibitions or some way of showing art around the city, or just getting artists out there to create, whether it's distracting them and also connecting them with other artists. And so we came up with this idea for Callin Response. I've known other groups who have collaborated, you know, together. And of course, you know, I know the Exquisite Corpse and, you know, of course, Jazz, the Callin Response. And I've known other artists who have done similar things. So I thought, you know, what a great idea. How would that work? Let's put it together. And it was actually fairly easy. I put out a call for artists. You know, I had them send me their contact information. I paired them randomly. I drew names on Facebook Live, and I sent emails out with all of the instructions on, okay, you have 24 hours to create a piece of work, send it to your partner digitally, and then they have to create a response to it. And they had 2 weeks. So there were up to 14 works total, 7 from each artist. And it was just amazing. We have a couple of hashtags out there, so we were following on social media to see, you know, what the artists were creating and just how clever and fun they were, you know, the fun that they were having. And they've met new friends, and we've heard from several of those partnerships that they're going to continue collaborating.
Very cool.
It was exciting to get that going.
So how many artists were involved in the project, and is it already, I know it is out because I've seen already the link, so can you tell us a little bit about how our friends can also access the online exhibition, the result of the collaboration?
Yeah, round 1. So actually we're working on round 2 now.
Oh, already, great.
Yeah, many of the artists said, you know, we want to continue. And so we started with a round 2. I paired the artists randomly. The first round, we had 100 artists total. So there were 50 pairs of artists.
Okay.
You can see the exhibition on the Shoebox PR website under the blog. I posted, and there's also the calls for art for round 3. So we're in the middle of round 2. But I had people contact me and say, oh, I missed round 2. Are you going to do it again? I decided to put the call out there. I mean, since we're staying at home, why not?
Exactly,
you know?
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anybody that's watching, if you want to participate, the call is out there for round 3.
Very cool. That's exciting. And I think as we spend more time indoors, then we are getting more used to working at distance with each other. Where at the beginning, maybe for phase 1, it was still sort of new and everybody was still kind of, in the process of this accepting what was going on right now versus now, a month later after this whole started or so, maybe more for others, now they are a little bit more at ease working from home.
Exactly. I think, at the beginning for the first month, we were in crisis mode. Everybody was trying to figure out how to survive. And now we're kind of trying to figure out how to thrive, how to sustain and thrive. And so, this is an opportunity to help with
Excellent.
that.
I love that.
Definitely.
I love that.
The artists are thinking differently.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing about Callin Response, and we look forward to seeing the next one. So when is and I understand you had an opening for the first one. So will you have a virtual opening for the second one? When is that coming up?
Yeah. The opening is, and I need to look at my calendar.
That's okay.
It is on May 9th, I know. It's on May 9th from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And actually, there's a Facebook event for it. So I can send you the links if anybody asks.
Excellent.
It's going to be on Zoom. And the first one, we had 57 people on Zoom. And what I did was, I was worried that it would get a little chaotic. But it was actually fun. And what I did was I had the artist peers that were there talk about their experience.
Oh,
and
nice.
Talk about how it helped them and, what they did together and how they worked together. And it was really, really great. Everybody loved hearing about it and asking questions. And
really cool.
It went really smoothly. Yeah.
Nice. Bring your own wine to the party.
Yeah. I said pants are optional.
That's right. That's very cool. And I love to see, I have attended a few events from different galleries and museums. And and everybody's trying to figure out how to best run their things. Some of them have them all muted where you go and everybody's muted. Some of them are open so you can come and start chatting. Others have it in almost like a webinar mode. So it's everybody's kind of finding their way of bringing people to their virtual home in that sense.
Exactly.
So that's exciting. So tell me a little bit about some of the other things that you do. So Callin Response is something that was born out of, the current situation, but that's not all you do. I know you are also a mentor, publisher. So tell me a little bit about what is Shoebox PR, which I started following the page as well, and I've seen some of the things that you're doing.
Yeah. Shoebox PR, we're more of a support network for artists. So we manage artists. We help them with PR. We help run their social media. We help them get exposure for their work. I like to call it a support network for artists, though, because we give them the resources and tools that they need. And we help them so when they're finished with us, they can go on and, sustain their career, rather than somebody just running it for them. So we're a coach in that way also. We have artist meetups and studio visits once a month to every couple months. We look for calls for art. We recommend them to galleries and curators. We help them with proposals for solo shows. And right now it's about support. It's making sure that they have what they need, that they're able to be in the studio working if that's what they need, or taking a break, watching Netflix if they need to. But as long as we want to make sure that we're there for them and supporting artists in every aspect.
That's cool. And how does it work? Is it like artists can come in at any time, or there's like a time frame in which people can come in and go through that? How does that work for
we normally, it's kind of on retainer. And we do 6-month contracts. Some of our artists have been with us 3 or 4 years now, and we just added some new packages because of what's going on and because, everybody's finances are, all over the place right now. Yeah. So we want to be able to help and offer, different packages to be able to do that. But it is mostly on retainer.
Awesome. And where can our friends find that? So I'm going to make sure I put a link under the video.
Oh, sure. Shoeboxpr.com.
And also you guys have an Instagram page as well, right? Which is Shoebox PR.
Yeah, it's shoebox_PR.
Okay.
Somebody has already taken Shoebox PR.
Okay, well, the good one, the one that we are talking about, is the one _PR.
Yeah.
Official. All right. And tell me also about the publishing, which also you are doing.
Yeah. So my degree is actually in art and art history, studio art and art history.
Mhm.
And, you know, I've taught art history at the college level. I taught, you know, modern and contemporary art history, feminist art history. And so I wanted to be part of that continuing conversation outside of just being an artist. I go to openings all the time. I see shows, or I was seeing shows all the time.
Right.
And also doing PR, I realized there's not that many publications out there for artists, you know, supporting art events. There's a few, but I wanted to be part of that conversation. So I started Art and Cake. It's artandcakela.com, which is my online art magazine. I pay writers, or we've actually slowed down a lot because of what's going on. But I was paying writers to review exhibitions, to do artist profiles. I would do a weekly art calendar of events that were taking place, openings and shows, you know, anything to another way of supporting artists. And it's focused on underrepresented artists, you know, artists of color, women artists, you know, gender fluid artists, you know, artists that aren't noticed and written about, and even alternative spaces and independent spaces and, you know, collectives. And
very cool.
You know, I want to be able to give them the attention.
So, Kristine, we're running out of time, but I want to ask you one last question, which, you know, you would be what, you know, we consider, you know, an art insider. You know, like me, we are very involved in the gallery world and also helping artists and working and doing all these things. So, you know, as you think about the world, the art world post, you know, coronavirus, post pandemic, you know, what are some of the things that you think will be the biggest changes that maybe you're thinking about or you are seeing? Nobody knows, of course, right? That's uncertain, but what are some of the things that you are thinking as the art world changes when we are out of this situation?
You know, that's a really good question. I think that we won't have as many art receptions because people, at least for a while, because people will be afraid to be in larger groups. So I think maybe people will go out and see art more during the day when there's less people around. And I think that'll be true for the public too. You know, I mean, everybody's been stuck inside. So I'm hoping that, you know, they'll get out there and see art.
Yeah.
You know, because that's one thing you can see. You know, everybody will be tired of Netflix.
I know.
But I also see community. You know, I mean, community is in Los Angeles. We have an amazing art community. Everybody's so supportive of each other. There's collectives and alternative spaces and, you know, support groups. And, you know, even more so, I think we're already in this DIY art world where artists are creating their own opportunities. I think that's going to happen more so. I know the galleries are also getting together and creating their own communities. There's a new initiative where 60 galleries just joined together in Los Angeles to create, I don't want to call it a union, but it's like this art gallery group where, you know, to support each other. And so I was like, we need to do that for artists. We need a union for artists. You know? So I think, you know, as independent contractors getting some of that stimulus money. So, you know, you know, I think we're going to see more artists trying to figure out, you know, how to get support that way and make it happen.
Right.
Definitely.
I could not agree with you more. I think, you know, that's kind of like some of the things I've been thinking about. I don't think, even after we are out of the pandemic, I don't think we're going to leave necessarily now all these virtual experiences. I think we are going to adapt them now for good as we go back. And so there will now, I think, always be this kind of an enhanced opportunity, both with being totally proactive in physical space, but also having more of these type of things that we have all learned now. You know, this kind of the larger gap of, well, I don't know how to use Zoom, or, well, I don't know how to go on. That's kind of almost getting out of the way as an excuse because now we are all doing it. And I think that's just going to add more to it. But like, I totally agree. I think I really believe that when this is over and people feel good about going out again, I think people will be thirsty for experiences that art can bring in all areas of art, theater, music, the visual arts, and I think there will be a resurgence. I do hope so, we look forward to see people like you, some of the amazing things that you'll be doing in the future as well.
Thank you.
Kristine, thank you so much for being here. You've been awesome today. Wonderful, wonderful and inspiring projects that you're doing. Where can our friends reach out to you, find you on social media?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Kristine Schomaker, just my first and last name.
Excellent. And from there, they can find all your projects as well. And again, in the show notes, we'll have all the links today too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You've been so awesome. Hope you have an awesome day. And we wish you, all our friends in California, also be well. And to all our friends who are watching right now, please share this episode with a friend. There's a lot of great resources that were mentioned in this episode. I'm sure your artist friends will also appreciate it. And Kristine and I will be really excited. So have a good day. See you next time. Goodbye.